Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. Joe Costello back with you, and we are getting ready for PRI 2025. That's right, the biggest racing industry trade show on the planet, and for me, an absolute must. For any hardcore racing industry person, it is the final get together of the year, really. It's the final opportunity to make some news, to get on the radar before everybody goes off into the holidays and does their holiday thing in the turn of the 2026 year. The 75th season of NHRA coming up, and we know there's going to be some big news broken at PRI. On this show, we'll kick around some of the ideas, some of the concepts, take some of your comments in the chat section. We're going to hear from the guys from Life's a Drag. Jason Logan, Elon Werner are going to give their take as well. And we're going to preview everything PRI, talk a little Outlaw Snowbird Nationals as well. What a race that was. A little 8th Mile Pro Mod right here in the state of Florida. And Jason Harris, party time, baby, gets the job done from the number one qualifier position, puts himself in position to win $1 million. $1 million? Really? That's pretty crazy. But it's really exciting, and they were running them hard, man, like quickest 8th mile field ever. Before we get to Elon's up first. He's out there at PRI already. Before we get into that, I want to mention a couple of things that are going on right now. Like, for instance, WFO swag on sale, the Miami Hollywood t-shirts. Everything is discounted. Life's a Drag shirts, fire shirts, mugs, hats, orange balls, naked lady tees. They're all right. We don't have those. It's a Caddyshack reference, but it's all discounted, extreme discount right now in our TeePublic store, and the link is up as we speak. Get in on that. Shout out to Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com. Bernie's Josh Hart going to be out there at the PRI show. But if you are looking for a new classic muscle car, if you're looking for a frame-off restoration, if you're looking to take your vehicle and have it sold on your behalf through consignment, Bernie's Speed Shop, that is their business. And they are expanding nationwide. If you're looking for a great gift for the holidays, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. There's no better gift than, hey, you get to go drive a dragster. You get to go race with Frank Hawley. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more information. Please join us at Foggett Booth 2312 on the show floor. Gary Stinnett, Joyce Stinnett, we're all going to be there hanging out. 2312. I think the best thing I could get for Christmas is a can of Foggett under my tree, available at summitracingequipment.com. Also, big shout out to the folks at Redline Synthetic Oil. You heard about them, but congratulations on the new PDRA deal. Our friends at Jesse Converters. Jesse going to be out there. Total Seal, that's where I'm going to be. Total Seal booth 1525 hanging out. But our friends at Hussey Performance are going to be out there. We got so many others that are going to be out there. One group not going to be out there, Marvin Rodak. I'll tell you about him a little bit later. But right now, let's bring on from Life's a Drag and many other things, Elon Werner. What's up, Elon?
Joe, how you doing, buddy? I've got crazy. I think I've got airplane hair. It's really driving me a little crazy.
Yeah, did you have your eye mask on so you could sleep? Oh, we lost your audio.
You got me all fired up.
Yeah, there you go. You should be all fired up. Yeah,
right.
You're good now.
Yeah, I mean, it's PRI. So we, I came in early. Werner Communications, we're doing some stuff with Winma. So we're all in good shape. I'm sorry, I'm getting breaking news on the Buddy Hull front. So probably in the next 30 minutes, there'll be some Buddy Hull alerts about his future.
You can't just tell us like right now, like literally you're the guy, the PR guy. You can't just tell us.
I will tell you right now that Buddy Hull is going back out on his own in Funny Car, and he'll have his own Funny Car team next year. So, yes,
totally unplanned, unexpected. I just had Elon on, and Buddy.
Season.
That's great.
Full
What?
Season, the release will go out. He's alerted Jim Dunn Racing. He's super thankful for everything Jim Dunn's for him, but he's getting back into team ownership. He's got great plans to race Funny Car full time next season, and we're going to go from there. That
is very exciting. Well, here's the thing about Buddy. Buddy has, I believe, I don't know what the word is proven himself or endeared himself or both to the greater NHRA community. I think people within the sport, the worker bees like myself, and the fans. He's become a part of it. Buddy Hull, like we need him out there. And so he's going to control his own destiny. Kind of makes sense, Elon, given his business background.
Right. And he's got Vertex behind him. He's actually bringing in some new partners, which we'll announce hopefully by the end of the week. He's got oral agreements, but he is a very much, let's get it signed on the dotted line before we talk about anything publicly. He's excited. He's going to do the Cruise, Pedregon, JCM bowling event Wednesday night in Indy. So if you want to come by and, check that out. But yeah, so big news, Buddy Hull's future, secured multi-year deals. He's going to be back in Funny Car full-time under his own team ownership. Hull Racing and Entertainment will be the official, since he's done so much with the Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hull TV show. We'll probably change that up a little bit in 2026. Like so many people, he has a crutch phrase in the show. If you've watched the show, he likes to say the world wants to know, and we'll probably, adjust the show a little bit. So we're not just talking to Funny Car people. He's kind of talking to NHRA folks. So big news, big things coming out of, PRI already.
This is it. This is the first breaking news of PRI 2025 right here on WFO Radio. If you're a fan of news, if you're a fan of Buddy, you're a fan of NHRA and Funny Cars, you definitely got to repost and share this show so that the world will know. We got a lot of response out there already. Like Jason Logan knows what to do. He's reposted the show. Just people saying good afternoon to us. Keith Kaufman, who is a regular on Life's a Drag. I've been hearing Keith.
Yeah.
3 posts a show, Keith. I can tell, and they won't tell you, but I'll tell you, keep it concise. Walt Walker out there, friend, excellent sportsman racer. Walt Walker won the divisional at the Stampede of Speed this year. He got the job done, brought home a Wally, and I saw that a schedule has gone out for the Texas Motorplex.
Yes, so we dropped the 2026 schedule earlier this morning, so all Stampede of Speed will be back bigger and better than ever. Actually, Joe, just FYI for you, we're having some discussions about potentially moving the opening cattle drive from a high noon on Friday to a sunset Thursday night. So Stampede of Speed may go from 10 days to 11 days to allow us to do the concert series even better with Brad Paisley. With so many acts, they kind of blur together for me. But 3-day concert, then a 2-day divisional, then the Jegs All-Stars, then the Texas Fall Nationals. Big highlights for the season next year. We'll have the Western Conference Junior Dragster Finals again in the summer. Funny Car Chaos, a double divisional. Texas 2K will be back. Which, have you ever been to a Texas 2K type event, Joe?
No. And Cheeseburger was telling me that he's like, Joe, so you get it. You get on planes all the time. He's like, you got to come here for that event, Joe. Just come to the event and see it, witness it. These people, they don't carry cash. They're Apple paying for anything that's available for sale.
I would concur. And also, I'm the same guy. I'm the guy that's like, oh my God, I'm going to go take my off weekend away from racing to go watch more racing. I actually went last year for the first time, and I was blown away. And I didn't even stay for the cool stuff. They do rolling start stuff and
roll racing.
I was just there talking to the people in the pits, and I ran into a guy from the UK. He had these super tricked out BMW drag cars, had 3 of them. And I was like, so what do you do? He goes, I just race around the world, and I come to this race. I shipped a container full of race cars to the States just for this event. And he's like, oh, this guy does this guy does this. It was like a complete international affair. And I think it's really what those guys have done has been pretty amazing. But it would be worth it to come down to see just one day of it, Joe. You can stay at my house.
All right. Okay. I got a place to stay. That would be fun. We'll have some beverages.
We can
possible.
carpool.
We could carpool. Okay. It's all getting easier. I'm all about seeing all kinds of new stuff and getting ideas.
But really the Motorplex schedule, it's expanding. We're trying to do more concerts, but the whole thing that Christy and Billy Meyer really want to do is make it diverse for all these different drag racing activities, and then also make it family friendly. They're going to continue to have, good ticket prices. We had great success with the 40th anniversary of the Fall Nationals last year. They're going to keep a lot of those elements. A lot of the cool kind of throwback merch is going to be big, but I think there's a few more things coming up, but you can see the full schedule on all the Texas Motorplex social media platforms or TexasMotorplex.com. But I for sure tell you, get your tickets for the Stampede of Speed and the Texas Fall Nationals early, because last year the concert was definitely a sellout for a couple days. The Fall Nationals, I think we're going to always try to sell as many tickets as possible, but it was very, very full for that.
75th season of the NHRA.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about the NHRA stage. I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. But Dana says that you were the first person she noticed in the Justin Ashley wedding photo that he posted.
Yes. I'm a big personality. It was that wedding was so much fun.
So reporting from the Justin Ashley Gina Marie wedding, what can you tell us?
Fantastic. So just so much love in the room. That was probably the biggest takeaway. Obviously, Mike Ashley, star of the show. He's also a big personality. The food was amazing. Gina looked beautiful. It was a black tie wedding, so there were a bunch of racers there that we all had the same conversation, that our tuxedos didn't know what they were doing coming out of the closet 1 month after the banquet. Dave Richards was there. Antron was there. Let's see who all. Dan Wilkerson was like, all the Skag guys were there. It was just a lot of fun, and they had a great DJ, and we killed it on the dance floor. And that was a whole that photographers everywhere, but that probably potentially was during Mr. Brightside. That was towards the end of the night. The wedding was from like 2 until 10:30. Full on food, dancing, everything. It was a ton of fun, and I was very, very appreciative of being invited.
That's awesome. No, I'm so happy for those two. Gina Marie and I are friends in the pit area when she comes to the races, and Justin did so well. You got to lock that down. When you find someone that cares about you and can tolerate drag racing, you got to lock it down.
For sure. And I love seeing that photo, because I'm definitely going to print that out, and that's going to make like the aura frame. And I'll probably also just kind of have it kind of framed in my office, just like a little side photo, because it just captures the energy of the event so well.
Excellent. All right. So I did, let's see what else out there. Now I want to give my opinion real quick on the Thursday night Twilight cattle drive.
Yes.
It would give everyone the opportunity to hang in the area of Waxahachie and patronize all those restaurants and little bars and things. Whereas now it's at noon and everybody kind of comes down and then they just leave. They got to go back to work or whatever they got to do.
We got to work out some of the logistics, because I just don't know how crazy busy it gets in the evening. It is still a Thursday, so closing streets, it's a little bit easier to do during the middle of the day, but it would open up for more bands, for kids from schools. I think it would work out. But the biggest thing is, Joe, from being a part of it, is there's so much that goes into that parade and the cattle drive, and then to go right from there to the first day of a concert, there's like a 2-hour window in there where it's just everyone's running around with their hair on fire, which we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, no, I get it. Eddie is out there saying, what's up, guys? Thank you for all you do for fans of NHRA. WFO, there's no better. Everybody's very positive. Sue Morris out there. She's going to be in Fuel Factory booth 4425. I'm going to go see Sue and the folks at Fuel Factory. All right, let's talk NHRA stage, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We get to find out who gets to drive the back-to-back world champion funny car for Cornwell Tools and John Force Racing. It's sounding like, I don't know, I'm assuming that's NHRA stage material and not just some corner of the hall. How exciting is that?
I think it's Friday at PRI. It's gonna be like a Beetle type event. I was talking to Josh Hart earlier today, and I believe you have all 4 of the JFR drivers for 2026 together on the stage. They'll introduce whoever the 4th person is, and then they're going to do all the autograph. It's like a 9 a.m. to 1:45, 2 o'clock. They do all the booths. They're going to do all the stuff. So the 4 drivers walking through the show, I predict will be like the Beatles coming to America.
Listen, if you're going to go big with an analogy, go big.
Because it's going to be, the crazy thing is Josh Hart is the 2nd most tenured JFR driver of that quartet. I mean, it's wild. And I don't know who the 4th driver is going to be. I mean, there's all kinds of names being thrown around, from Paul Lee to Chris King to Bobby Bodie to Jordan Vandergriff to other drivers that we haven't even heard of, Stevie Fast Jackson, Lyle. I mean, I wish there was some kind of funny car cake or something, like, let's just sneak that person in there, put them in the funny car. Because, sometimes they have the funny car beside the stage. Let's just sneak that person in there at like 6 o'clock in the morning and then have them pop out of the car like a cake.
Wow. Well, the PR guy in you take a break. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's going to be, it will be anticlimactic. It will be, because like when they did announce Beckman a couple years ago, there's a funny car covered, but then there's Jack Beckman hanging around.
Lingering.
Well,
it's not too late. So I spoke with Brad Gerber on the E-Part Trade Industry Week last week, and we had some great interviews. Francisca and Judy Keene, they started with PRI years ago and now have branched out. This E-Part Trade deal is really great. And spoke with Josh Hart, spoke with Brad Gerber, and Brad Gerber did mention that the Cornwell car is going to be in the NHRA booth, and it is not going to have a name on it. And so that got my imagination going. I didn't want to put Brad in a bad situation of accidentally revealing something he wasn't supposed to, although I'm confident I could have tricked him into it.
Oh, for sure.
That's a different thing altogether. It got my imagination wondering, like maybe they will apply the name and there'll be a reveal, and maybe the person will pop out the top. Maybe it's not too late to make that happen. That having all been said, I was going through my closet the other day and I found a John Force media guide from 2007, 2009, something like that.
Yep.
And it was Ashley, it was Robert. It was amazing how things have changed. And that's what struck me, the change that we're experiencing for the first time. John Force Racing, it's a family-owned team by John, but it's not a family-driven team. I think that might be a very good thing for them.
I think so too. And really, as much as I guess I could say I like the New England Patriots. I do not like Tom Brady. I do not like Bill Belichick. But now you're seeing this storied franchise without the 2 main people that made it what it is. So I think there's still a lot of value in the John Force Racing team. John Force will still be very active. The Forces will still be around. They just won't be necessarily the people on the track. But when you roll up, when Jack Beckman rolls up beside Austin Prock, or Alexis rolls up beside Cruz Pedregon, I mean, there will be true rivalries. And will Austin Prock take on the role of a villain? I mean, we've seen it. When you go against JFR, the masses do not like it. Tasco is also going to have an even bigger bullseye on him. That's going to be the interesting thing. Is there's some villains out there now. 75th anniversary. It's going to be delicious.
It is going to be delicious. It's going to be very exciting. You mentioned Cruz Pedregon. Let's talk about that. Warrior and Rip going to be the guys, but I also think that Cruz has tuned that car in the past, and I don't know what it means. I'm excited for those guys, for Chris and Rip and Cruz, but Cruz won a race last year.
Yep,
He's got to continue the upward trend.
Yeah. And this is really you and I talk a lot about how NHRA and kind of college football and how we pick drivers should be closer to how they pick football coaches, but basically Cruz got Iowa Stated on this deal. He developed Bunker as a crew chief and invested. I'm going to take a guy and I'm going to build him up. And then when he got good, was winning races, and, you know, another team that just lost their crew chief that had been very, very successful needed a guy. I think that's where he went. And so your crew chief gets cherry picked. And that to me is a badge of honor for Cruz. That's not a knock on Cruz. That's just cost of doing business. And
well, I want to just add to the layer, which is actually, in my opinion, so Jason Bunker, good friends with Jason Galvin, nostalgia scene coming out of that, knowledgeable guy, but got a big show opportunity with Paul Lee. Remember Paul? And then Cruz pinched him from Paul. And then, you know, like, so this is one of the most active silly seasons we've ever had. People are in the chat asking about Proc. Where's Proc going to go? Who's Proc's sponsor going to be? Like, this is one where I don't believe in stealing anyone's thunder. You've been the media guy. It's terrible, right? When you have all these plans and someone just ruins it.
It's the worst. And, you know, I'm looking, you've seen, you know, all these things are going into the works to make wherever Austin Proc is going to land a big deal. You want it to be a big deal. You want, for the sport, you want it to be a big deal. You want this Lane Kiffin type attention where people are talking about, and, you know, we want Joe Costello posted up in front of Austin Proc's house at a future date, trying to get updates like Marty Smith.
Right.
You know, that's what you want people talking about. But it has been the silliest of silly seasons I can honestly ever remember.
It is my understanding that, you know, like, so are the Procs, and you don't know this, are the Procs going to be at PRI? Like, are we going to, like, you know, is there a strategy, media? I'm asking Elon, the media expert now. Are they waiting too long with this? I'm hearing January, mid-January. There's a big event in mid-January that may or may not be the event we find out. Like, man, that's a long time away. It's going to leak.
It's a long time away from now, but then it's also a perfect time to take over the 75th anniversary season. You know, that to me is, there were so many announcements right around the beginning of the countdown that I felt like could have been made this week, whether it was the Tony Stewart Elite merger. That was, to me, more of a PRI type deal, because now you don't even talk about that. That's just, that was into the countdown stuff. So now you kind of come into PRI that, there's going to be some other announcements made, I think. But I like a January announcement, especially with the season waiting to get things started until March. You know, we're going to need some good news to kind of kickstart the season a little bit.
Okay. I feel like we're all being extremely respectful to the story. Like, to your point, so respectful. But everybody...
Will the Procs be at PRI? I would be surprised if there's any Procs at PRI, just because they don't want to get put in a position to have to lie to somebody, or, you know, not, you know, I've heard, you know, Austin Proc's under a gag order. I mean, that's a little extreme. The guy's just living his life. I'm hoping he's enjoying his second Plenty Car World Championship, and he's just vacationing and spending time with his family. I mean, that's the yin and the yang of the PR business is, what exactly do drivers owe fans, and what fans expect from drivers? Like, the season's over. And I tell people all the time, they're like, who's going to be in what car? And I go, you know how you tell for sure who's going to be in what car? Come to the Gator Nationals. Watch Q1 of the Gator Nationals, and then you'll know who's in whose car. Right. And who their sponsor is. Let the game come to you a little bit.
And if you really are a super diehard fan, you can create a war room, much like many fantasy players do, and write down every name of every driver and every car that is available and every crew chief, and you can start crossing them off or drawing lines.
Moving them around.
Beautiful mind. And eventually, it won't take long to notice there are only a couple of spots that could possibly be it. Now, you know, is Roger Penske coming into the sport? You know, who knows, right? Is Andretti coming in with the Proc family? We don't know.
Yeah. Is Rick Hendrick going to up his game because now he's got 2 World Pro Stock World Champions, Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn.
Right.
Why would you not seize upon the rising stardom of Dallas Glenn?
Well, exactly. All right. Before we let you go, I
Yes.
know we got to let you go. I'm going to bring on your co-host here. Jason Logan is on here. Look at this guy. He is on here. What's up, Jason Logan? How are you, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right,
What's the
cool.
shirt you're wearing? Is that the final Mile High Nationals ever?
That's it.
Wow.
Very
Sad.
dressed it up. It is sad.
Hashtag
Very sad.
sad. All right, so we're going to let Elon go, but I wanted to have a little crossover with you. Elon, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want people to know about before they go to PRI as related to you, NHRA, NHRA stage?
I'm going to be on the NHRA stage on Friday, talking a little bit of drag race bracket bonanza. We're going to have some cool 75th anniversary brackets next year. We've got the 64 best top fuel moments, funny car, pro stock motorcycle. So we're going to have brackets that fans can fill out for the 75th anniversary to pick their favorite moment in each of the categories. But just so we have tons of drivers, Chris King will be there, Joe Morrison, Buddy Hall, Spencer Hyde, Josh Hart with the JFR team. And it's just going to be Julie Natas. It's just going to be tons of drivers. It is hands down my favorite. You touched on earlier. This is the greatest way to end the season. I love PRI. You're kind of wrapping up, putting.
Exactly. Buddy's like, did you tell my story?
I got to go.
There he goes. Later,
go.
Elon.
Buddy Hall's calling me.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Later. There he goes. All right. Elon Werner from Life's a Drag.
He's saying, hey, don't give away I got to get some deals signed. Don't tell everybody everything yet.
He did reveal some big news, though. I felt like that was exciting. Did you see that, Jason Logan?
I saw it. Yeah. Dude, everyone loves Buddy Hall. So we could cross his name off the list of being the next driver of the Cornwell's funny car.
Right. His name is crossed off. All right. So we got you for a few minutes. I just wanted you to have a little crossover, but I'm going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll do a little Q&A for Jason Logan, and you and I will kick around some of the rumors and stories that are going on out there. Like one person is demanding to know why you were not out the Outlaw Snowbird Nationals in Bradenton. You could have been there. Why were you not there?
Was the DJ not good? What happened?
I don't know. I don't know if there was a DJ or anything. I know the racing was good. And Jason Harris won the race over Sidney Frigo in what was just, an epic 8th mile pro mod race. Really exciting. We'll connect back with Jason Logan. But first, I want to tell you about our friends, HusseyPerformance.net. I saw David Allen out there. David, you got a booth? Or are you just going to be walking the show at PRI? Normally they have a booth kind of in one of the side halls, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Not just copperhead gaskets anymore. They have composite gaskets. They're extremely high quality. They're made in America. They are made rapidly and shipped out rapidly because they have got great customer service. Everything is done with lasers and great material. And you can just call David if you have any questions. 412-716-4872. Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. They didn't have to move their manufacturing back to the United States because they never left the United States. And they have a contingency program and top alcohol dragster, top alcohol funny car, top dragster, and top sportsman in the NHRA, certainly at least as of 2025, and also in PDRA and top sportsman and top dragster. Congratulations to the folks at PDRA and Redline, by the way, for putting together that deal. That is really cool. But the next time you need gaskets, copper or otherwise, think about our great friends at HusseyPerformance.net. Here's the update. Look at that, right across from Strange Engineering. And they've got keychains. You want some swag? You want some copper head gasket keychains? Swing by Hussey Performance, booth number 4526. Booth number 4526. Swing by, say hello, and I definitely plan to go by there myself and see David and his dad and the whole team over there. All right, when we come back, we'll speak with Jason Logan right after this.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
That's right, dpfxfit.com, or the G Sport brand of Jesse converters. Excited to learn a little bit more about the G Sport brand when I return, not G Spot. Did you see the Dallas Glenn interview on WFO Radio last week? We had a problem with the podcast, Jason Logan. But
I did not see that.
It finally went up. Dallas was great, as you can imagine. Dallas is we're just going to get to know Dallas Glenn starting now, because he was aw shucks Dallas, and now he's world champion Dallas. And those got to be two different Dallases, I think.
I think so. I love Dallas Glenn. I remember 2 years ago at the banquet, we were playing blackjack together. We had the best time for a good hour and a half. It was awesome. I love him. He's a really good dude.
No, Pro Stock's going to be great. Yeah.
I got, in lieu of the PRI show and everybody breaking news, I got breaking news.
I'm ready.
You ready? This is for everybody at WFO. Guess what? I'm coming back next year. And you know how I know? It's because I just put my order in for shirts today. That's how I know that they're going to spend money on more shirts for me. So that's how I know I'm coming back, Joe. Give it up.
That's so funny. Me too, I guess. Rehire.
Rehire. No contract signed yet, but you know what? I'm coming back.
Well, Jason, do you think that this gives us some outsized leverage, knowing that they've already spent money on our shirts?
I think so. At least four. I mean, I ordered 4, so that's at least $40 I've got in my pocket. That
we know you guys are already in deep on Jason Logan. You bought 4 XXX shirts.
Yeah.
And well, listen, you plan to hold out. I support it if it works out.
Listen, if I don't get what I want, I might be holding out.
Monica says, yeah, Jason's back with his tunes. Let's see.
Keith, I'll play some Todd Rundgren for you, Keith. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like that here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Keith is one of your big Life's a Drag
he is. You like him? Keith, you can comment as much as you want. Don't let Joe tell you what you can and can't do.
No, it's too much. Like, you got to capsulize your couple of comments. You can't become a chronic. That's the thing. Keith knows. Keith and I are buds. I can tell him this. Coming out of talk radio, where you can't hear the same voices all the time, a caller has to, once a week at most, if you're an everyday show. Keith, you can post in the chat section, but you gotta keep it tight. You gotta keep it tight. Dana says that even North Carolina Pro Modder Jay, who did the live stream for the Outlaw Snowbird Nationals for the test session, was complaining about the music.
What was so bad?
They needed.
What was so bad? That's what I want to know.
Look at you taking up for the DJ folks. I agree with you. That's good. You protect your own. DJ always gets criticized. Always. So let's look back.
Oh, let me go one back. Talking about Buddy Hall, the new name of his team, Racing and Entertainment.
Yes.
Hey, Buddy Hall, I'm all about entertainment. What are we talking about?
I hear he's going to have cheerleaders.
Oh, that's awesome.
I spent a lot of time thinking about what would work in our drag racing universe. The NHRA dancers, right? Maybe it's a bad idea. I don't know.
Well, we used to have Miss NHRA. Let's bring Miss NHRA back.
I don't think we miss NHRA at all.
I do. Speak for yourself, Joe.
I don't know. What was it costing?
Who knows? It's
right.
Free.
Well, see that we don't know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Life's a Drag, the move to WFO Radio. Are you doing a show tomorrow? I don't think so, right? You are.
No, because Elon's gonna walk the floor and give us behind the scenes scoop what's going on out there. He might have drivers. He might just go in a booth and maybe do a free commercial for whoever he goes to the booth for. I don't know. Maybe he'll be at the Foggett booth. Yeah, Total
Yes.
Seal, Foggett. Let's go.
Foggett booth 2312, guys. Be sure to swing by Foggett booth 2312. And just so you know, all you racers out there, you can buy Foggett at the show, as I understand it. So you can walk out of there with a can of Foggett, and you've been hearing me talk about it for your whole life. And now you can actually go by, you can see Gary, you can walk out of there with a case of Foggett and then understand what it's all about. So you're doing a show tomorrow. That's exciting. And so people will see the show floor. I will be traveling. I have 3 to 6 is my air time. And so I will be landing late afternoon, early evening, and hit the show hard running in Total Seal booth 1525 on Thursday. But let's go back to Life's a Drag. You guys launched, and then you went on hiatus, and then Galvin got hired by NHRA, and now you're on WFO. I would call it a strong half season, maybe a little more. How would you
I think, definitely. I think we, well, even with like last week's show, our Friendsgiving, was that last week or was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I mean, we had, our largest number of people watching live. And you see the stats on what they do on SoundCloud. I don't even pay attention. I just post that stuff up. So, it's fun. It's fun being with you and being able to cross over, talk to your viewers, get to hang out at meetups. Whenever you have meetups, we get to see the fans. Like we did that one in Reading. That was good. You pulled Tony Schumacher in as a special guest. That was fun.
That was actually very fun. We just usurped him. It was like we just say, you're part of this now. He's like, what?
We enveloped him into the group. It was great. He didn't know what was going to. Oh, okay, cool. Another fan meet and greet. Let's go.
10 years from now, when they look back at the photos of the meet and greet, they'll be like, hey, Tony Schumacher is there. All right. BW Show wants to know, Joe and Jason, what are you guys most excited for PRI? I'll go first. Total Seal booth 1525. We're going to be recording Hidden Horsepower episodes. Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn are coming by on Thursday at 11 a.m. Pat Musey's coming by at 1 p.m. Those guys, Greg and Dallas, they typically walk the show together, and Pat Musey are like, it's a yearly thing that we have this discussion. It's usually very lighthearted. It's in person. It's personable. So I'm very excited about that and the stuff we're doing at the Total Seal booth. Second would be, I'm very interested to know who gets to drive the 4th JFR car. Like, I think that's about as big news as you can get in the world of drag racing. If you're not like excited to know who gets to pilot that car, then are you even a fan? Do you even think, like, if it's a Ferrari and we don't know who the driver is, if it's Max Verstappen's Red Bull and Max has gone to another team and someone's going to get that ride, that's world news. And it should be in the NHRA. There should be a crowd around the NHRA stage of 10,000 people should be there to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. That's my big takeaway, or that's what I want to see. And that's the big news, obviously. I hope they don't make it anticlimactic where that 4th person's just kind of standing around like Elon was talking about Jack Beckman. I hope they make a big spectacle out of it. Kind of like the World Cup draw. Did you see any of that, Joe?
I didn't.
Where President Trump came out with the president of Mexico and the what's his name? What do they call him in Canada? The Prime Minister of Canada was there, and it was the worst produced thing I've ever seen on live TV, the World Cup draw. It was absolutely terrible. They mixed in Kevin Hart and Shaquille O'Neal, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady. I was like, what is going on? So I hope the NHRA watched that a little bit and take away what not to do at a big announcement like that.
On your note, okay, so I was watching your show last week and you guys were talking about this topic, and it did occur to me, and I was ready to log on, and I said, no, man, leave these guys alone, let them have their own show and their own takes and whatnot. But creating a spectacle is important. You have to create a spectacle. Whoever gets Austin Prock and the Prock family, I really hope they create a spectacle. That's something that Formula One does on a regular basis. The unveiling of the cars, driver announcements. It's huge. It's like a TED Talk, big spectacle, a reveal. And I hope, and I know our NHRA friends are watching us and they probably have their plan already laid out right now. But you heard Elon, you're hearing Jason, you're hearing myself. I know like guys like Loans are huge into spectacle. I'm not suggesting we have to lower the person from the rafters.
No.
But a reveal of some sort last year, you know, Beckman was already driving the car though. So you can understand that half the people there aren't diehard NHRA fans. And so they might not be able to pick the driver out of the crowd anyway. But if you are a diehard NHRA fan, you look to the side of the stage, there's no curtain, everyone's hanging out, and you can figure it out. It would be great if they had a reveal where it was actually a surprise. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know. I think I know, but I don't really know the answer to the question.
Yeah, I think this has definitely been the best kept secret. I will say that much. Like you said, I think I know who it is as well, just by process of elimination. But hey, who knows, man? What happens if Gary Scelzi comes back and says, "Yo, I want to drive that car," right?
Or Gio,
like, could you
right?
imagine
Like
that?
I pull in. It could be anyone, but really not. You'd have to be a really good qualified driver. You have to be media friendly. I think there is a very narrow group of people. The Stevie Fast deal.
Man, that would be awesome.
Well, and this is what we're missing out on a little bit. I would have loved for a little more time to think about that. Lyle Barnett, the guy is a character. He's an ace.
Yep.
He's great on the starting line. And he just keeps, like, he hasn't had that consistent opportunity. Stevie Fast coming out of Pro Mod, this big personality, very John Force-like. That would be interesting. Like, whoever they pick is going to have some kind of personal, like a gravitas.
Right. Sure.
You're going to have gravitas. And who could that possibly be? And Keith Kaufman, Dean Scusa, or Whit Bazemore. This is why Keith, like, I'm yelling at him, like, come on, man, guys, I want to be ageist. And I'll just say it as that. I don't want to be ageist.
It's so great. So give me the lineup now. We've got Alexis, Josh Hart.
Alexis, Josh Hart, Jack Beckman in John Force's Peak Camaro, the flagship, and then the world champion car of Cornwell Tools, driven by Mr. Speculation or Mrs. Speculation. Because a lot of people, I'm the rumors, and you know, guys, listen, we're having fun with this. We're having fun with this, but I'm hearing it could very much be a female.
Could you imagine if Ida got in that car? Ida Zetterstrom?
Or
talk
Julie?
About somebody who's media savvy.
Yeah.
She could be good. See, this is what it's all about. I mean, it could be anybody. And they did say they're going to announce it on Friday. What, at 9:00?
Yeah, Friday. I believe it was 10.
10?
Which
okay.
Is when 10 o'clock. Scott Shafferoff is going to be with me in the Total Seal booth. So your Hidden Horsepower guys, you'll all be over there watching Scott Shafferoff on Hidden Horsepower. But I get what you're saying. Listen to this guy. I thought they announced Paul Lee was driving the Cornwell car.
Well, see,
I heard that rumor several times this morning that Paul Lee was going over there. I have confirmed earlier, and I believe I can say this, that Paul Lee is not going over there.
Okay.
What about TJ, Tommy Johnson Jr., great veteran? I would never say anything negative about Tommy Johnson because there's nothing negative to say.
Right.
The only thing is, if you're going to jump in the Cornwell Tools World Champion car, I think you need to be in position there. I don't know, Tommy doing the TV shows for the rival series, that just talking about, shutting NHRA down and, I don't know. I don't think that works anymore.
No. And everybody's, I mean, I know we talked about that earlier in the season, but even Wes Buck is out there talking about, hey man, the more drag racing, the better. IHRA, he made the point, NHRA was never better when IHRA was out there running and doing well. And, it's good to have competition, but nobody's out to kill anybody. Nobody's out to destroy anybody, I don't think.
Well, see, I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that some of the statements that have come from that side of the universe, certainly from fans, have been very aggressive and unnecessary. But like, I don't even want to go there. Like, that's the thing. I don't want to get wrapped up in that kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, maybe it's Ashley Force is returning. We just don't know. That's why you got to watch the NHRA live stream. You got to be there at the show. You got to watch it, and we'll find out. I have the person that I would like it to be, but I'm not going to stay. I'm going to abstain from that because I don't want to.
Well, I think as savvy as John Force, Brittany, the whole family is in this whole world, they're going to pick the right person. You know, whether you like it or not, or they're not your favorite or whatever, and you're the biggest John Force fan and, Cornwell Tools guy, it may not be somebody you thought it would be, but those guys are smart. They know who they're going to pick. They know they've got a program. They've got a plan. Just gotta trust the plan.
If they don't have a plan, then that is a terrible deal.
Well,
this is the most significant team in NHRA drag racing history, John Force Racing, the most well-known outside of the sport, and they are about to fill their most prominent position ever. They've always had John. John is now retired. This is one of the biggest calls. Remember a couple of years ago when Tony Stewart announced you're going to drive Leah's car and everybody got mad because NHRA oversold the deal?
Yeah.
2 years later, Tony Stewart as regular season champion, Tony Stewart as top 10 player race winner. I don't think that I think that it lived up to the hype.
Well, I don't know about that, but I don't. In retrospect,
Tony has taken over as one of the predominant faces of NHRA drag racing. He has done more media for NHRA drag racing in the 2 years that he has been a racer and for a long time now, partnership with Elite Motorsports. Look at how Tony's presence in the NHRA has shuffled so many things. If we could go back to that morning that we announced at PRI 2 years ago that Tony was like the biggest announcement in the history of NHRA and everybody scoffed. I don't know. I think the argument can be made.
Listen, I definitely think he's definitely going to become the face of the NHRA at this point in time with John Force not racing. But, the guy's he's magic, man. That guy, he's got so much pull and he's got gravitas and he crosses over so many different places. So it's, he definitely is the guy. Speaking of crossing over. let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Have you been keeping up with the NASCAR court thing going on?
Yes, a little, but not okay. On the Ignition podcast, which became available last night. Thank goodness the podcasts are going up to the feed for whatever reason, guys. You got to follow on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/WFO Radio, and you'll never miss one. But the Spotify and Apple podcast feed every once in a while gets clogged like a clogged pipe, but then they all come through eventually. But Sue Morris from Fuel Factory, booth number 4425. Sue Morris has been keeping us up on it. And wow, it's looking, first of all, anytime you get Michael Jordan on the stand, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I've just been following it, just on Twitter and different things like that. And there's some crazy things coming out of that whole thing. Which I think could easily change the course of motorsports all around, F1, NHRA. It's a whole thing.
Well, so here's the thing. Ultimately, people have to be able to make money with their major investments in 2025.
Correct.
That's it. And when Joe Gibbs' daughter-in-law is on there testifying that they're losing money and they're not making money, and all these teams, it's like a big passion play, and that everybody that races is just coming out of their pocket and losing money, and Rick Hendrick is losing money, and everyone's losing money except for one entity is making money, and they're making a lot of money. Yeah. I don't know. And so, and by the way, you're right. If you invest significant funds in drag racing, it shouldn't just be a money pit. There's a saying about making a small fortune in racing by starting with a large one.
Right.
And we hope to get there, but we're not where NASCAR is, certainly.
No. But yeah, it is funny when I first saw it, the first thing I said, the judge was like, if any of these parties think they're right or wrong or they've got this one already, you're crazy. So it's going to come down to the jury, and we'll see how this plays out.
C5 Pete, we only scoffed because it wasn't really a surprise, but he certainly changed the face of NHRA. Thank you, C5
Correct.
Pete. I think that's a nice middle ground. Many or most of the people at PRI, while interested in cars, aren't necessarily super NHRA knowledgeable. And
right.
So we were speaking to two different audiences in that moment. But this, John Force's World Championship car, like, I think that this story is potentially the biggest story we've seen in the NHRA, that our world champion in funny car, back-to-back world champion, and his family team has elected to go elsewhere, unknown, and vacate the legend, John Force, who anointed them his replacement, and now they need a new replacement. Elon mentioned it. Austin Prock as villain. I think it's unavoidable.
Yes, I agree. Oops, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's totally unavoidable, and I think that's what's going to make the 75th annual so great. Is now we have a real villain out there, and not because you're yelling at people and pointing fingers on the starting line or a top end or things like that we all love to see, or a brouhaha at the starting line between the crews, that we love to see that. But for a real thing of like, hey, I just won 2 world championships for you, and you know what? I'm going to take my marbles and go someplace else for whatever reason. That no one really knows, or at least I've never heard anything for what reason. Could it be money? Could it be we just didn't like being there, or we just want to go and prove it on our own that we can do this? That's what's going to be. I think that's going to be awesome from the get-go.
And imagine if, right, listen, C5 Pete, I was just thinking this. I hope Austin's new car is black.
Yes.
Yes.
So awesome.
Lean into it. Mostly black with a little bit of the other color.
But then here you go. He comes out, wins maybe the first couple races, and then he starts sliding. Oh, you should have stayed at JFR. See what happens. That's when it's going to get fun. The narrative of that whole season is just going to be. It's going to be great next year with all of that.
And the first time, like we don't know. Nobody knows who the driver of the Cornwall car is going to be. But just imagine. If the driver of the Cornwall car had some sort of like dynamic where they could stand up to Austin in a way.
Right.
That could be like, this could be the best thing that has ever happened to NHRA drag racing. The Procs leaving John Force, assuming slight heel style persona, bad guy. The new person, assuming the Luke Skywalker good guy role, and then there's your epic rivalry for the next 5 years. Those guys, they were with them, but he left John Force. John Force is my guy. John Force picked this new person, he or she, and now I'm with them, and then they race.
Well, and don't you think that's part of the plan? John Force is going to throw everything at that car. And he's gonna just say, "Yeah, okay, bye. Watch how I win without you guys." Don't you think? I mean, that's got to go into the plan, in the thought process of the driver, someone who can handle it, who can take on that type of pressure. Like, hey, man, what happened? He beat you again. What's going on? It's gonna be good.
For many years, it's been like the anti like buddy hug it out on the top end. Like, yeah, we're all out here just trying to be drag racers, and it's gonna be great. Now, for at least in this class at this time, there is something extra.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
We were talking at work the other day about our favorite wrestlers. And I mean, it like they're in the Attitude Era. It was so great. We talk about heels all the time, Joe, you and I. And when John Cena became a heel last year. Oh my God, it's been fun. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I shouldn't be watching wrestling. I shouldn't be doing it. But the fact that they turned Mr. America, John Cena, into a heel, that brought more eyes back to WWE than anything, and it was just so great. So the heel aspect of it, and then you know, we talk about there's people out there on the internet just stirring up just junk, making statements, and you're like, and you're very good about this. He's the heel. They're the heel out there. They're just looking for clicks. I don't think they really even believe half the stuff they're saying. It's a script. Stop it. And we all react to it. That's the best part about it.
Oh my God. Like if the day I get the opportunity to do, what is it? To make the heel turn, or what's the saying, however it goes, like I would love to be the bad guy. It will be so much fun to just try to aggravate and annoy. Michael Heiner says that his job is to spread hate and discontent. Michael Heiner, and he's out there spreading hate and discontent. And you can hear Michael Heiner on his own show here on WFO Radio for Patreons only. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. Hear it from Heiner, where he spreads hate and discontent. The final episode of 2025 will be coming soon. But how much fun would that be if you didn't have to worry about being a respected member of the community and like telling the truth? Yeah, like I got to be known for telling the truth and honesty. Like imagine if you could just say anything and be the bad guy and embrace it and get paid.
Well, like in Reading this past year, I kept shooting shirts at this guy holding a tire over his head, and if he hadn't lowered it, I would have made it. I would have sunk that thing so hard. And then I'm heading back to my little stand. I've got the microphone still, and the guy goes, "You suck." And I was like, "No, I don't, sir. Don't you dare say that I suck, sir." And for the rest of that weekend, the Reading fan, well, and it didn't help that Galvin piled on with, "Oh yeah, he hates the Eagles." I'm like, whoa, stop with that. I go, okay, I'm buying in. So I was the heel in Reading, but that's okay. We'll let it slide.
Well, it rarely happens, and that was a fun time, and I agree. But you did bring up the downside to being a heel at the NHRA, and I want to put this out there in advance. Like, no matter what, Austin Prock, Jimmy Prock, and Thomas Prock are good people who I like, who are great competitors, who don't deserve some crazy fans screaming at them in their face or hurting them or endangering them or throwing anything. And the total access you get at NHRA is what changes. Remember when Steve Torrance did the heel turn for a quick moment and people got really ugly. And that's the problem. We can't have that. I really hope our fan base can handle themselves.
Correct. Because some of it's theater, guys. It's some of it's theater.
Some of it is theater. This guy says it might be Alex Laughlin. I don't know. I'm hearing Alex Laughlin to Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Yeah, he wants that motorcycle ride.
I want to talk to Alex on WFO about that. Like, to me, that's one of the most courageous things I've ever seen. Gary says, why not put Julie Natus in there? Former world champ, great personality, brings some money. Yeah.
I like it.
That's a competitive argument. That's why the Beautiful Mind dry erase board with all the lines and the circles and all the articles taped up there. Just go with it.
And it's crazy, you know, and you look back and I mean, I would love to just know the process of like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Here's how we have it. And at the end of the day, John Force is leaning back in his chair going, let's watch it all play out. The guy's a mad genius, man. He knows what he's doing. It's going to be fun. He's going to shake up the world.
And what we have lacked for so long. It's just you want to see people going after something. Like, I admire the Procs, whatever their reasoning. And one day we'll get that interview, right? Like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And that they're going to have to answer that question. That question will have to be answered. We did this because ... And they're all going to get it, and they're not going to be able to dodge it. And if they dodge it, it's going to be real negative. People are going to not respond well to dodging that critical question. They've got plenty of time to figure out a really good answer to, why did you leave John Force Racing? And it's going to unfold. And Keith says 87 days to the Gator Nationals. I can't confirm that that's accurate. I didn't count.
I'm sure you did the math.
Maybe not. Maybe he just picked a number. I liked it when the funny car class was a little dark. Al Hoffman, Jerry Tolliver, the guy in the black hat, Ace. You got to have bad guys. Look at Dale Earnhardt. NASCAR isn't NASCAR without Dale Earnhardt willingly being the intimidator.
Yep.
Willingly becoming the intimidator. Can you imagine if Austin Prock put on a little, like, kid's never been cocky. Never has been cocky. He's been confident. He's tried. He's been disappointed when he loses or makes a mistake. Can you imagine if he got ever so slightly cocky and aggressive towards others?
Oh yeah, talking about Torrance taking the heel turn. I mean, there'll be top end interviews where he wouldn't even say anything just because he'd be mad at Amanda or something. I'm like, dude, what'd she do to you? What do you talk? Just answer the question. But he would drop gems down there and be like, ooh, next round's gonna be good. Here we go. If he just got a little cocky. I remember Tanner Gray, him and Erica going at it a couple years ago, and Tanner would get so upset, but when he would win, man, he would drop it on her, and then she would just come right back, and she'd beat him, and those two chatted it up the whole time. It was good, dude. Yeah, it's fun when you got a competitive thing going on like that.
We kind of got robbed. We kind of got robbed of that. Tanner moving on to go to the round track world in the trucks, because he got the best of Erica and he got the best of everybody that year.
Yep.
And then walked away and didn't defend, right? Didn't give everybody a chance to get back at him and see if he could do it again. Man, that would have been wild. We kind of lost out on that one a little bit.
Yeah, you had Greg and Dallas go, head to head, but they're teammates. They're not going to fight with each other. But could you imagine if that was Greg and Erica? I mean, they seem to have kind of cooled down a little bit, right? They still kind of, you see them at events and they like each other, ha ha ha. But when they're on the track, they're not so friendly.
Well, Erica was terrible this year. Like, that's the problem, is that they both got to be good at the same time, and they will be again. But also, people have seen that show. That show. But
it's still fun. It's still fun.
Super fun. But people have seen that show. This show we're about to see next year, nobody's seen this show before. This is a new show.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be must-see TV. I mean, it's going to, I wonder if, if Fox, they probably won't move our stuff around, but could you imagine on Sundays, we've got this big showdown, good versus bad, Austin Prock versus whoever, and we gotta preempt NFL football for this. We gotta watch that. Could you imagine that Fox if we built that up like this?
Well, you have to. You've got to build it up. People have to understand. This is something that I believe in my storytelling. Not everybody believes this, but that you got to tell people like what's important, like what we're doing right now. We're laying it out. Imagine if there was conflicting sponsors, or imagine if there was conflicting manufacturers, and like one manufacturer is like, hey, you left us. Why'd you leave us? And we want to kick your ass. And took it a little personal, all of these things will factor in. It's going to be exciting to see. I'll see, we'll just have to wait till Friday. That's it. We're going to wait till Friday.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. So, so outside of the PRI show, do you got any big dinners planned? You got anything fun?
It's going to be 3 degrees. And if you look at the weather app, Thursday says severe snowstorm. And so, being the guy from Miami, that has frightened me. I actually felt fear. No, I felt fear. Like, I've got a jacket and I have some gloves, but I'm not really prepared for that. Am I going to be able to get an Uber from the airport to the hotel? Am I going to be able to get around? And so, normally I would make plans to go to St. Elmo's, get the shrimp cocktail. I'll probably do that regardless. But all bets are off if it's 1 degree. Then I'm just going to huddle inside and freeze.
The good part is you probably don't have to go outside your hotel to get to the convention center, right? They have those little walkways.
To get to St. Elmo's, you got to go outside.
Yeah, you got to get outside.
You got to go outside a little bit. I'm at the Westin this year, and so there's plenty of options. There's a restaurant in the Westin. If it's that cold and it's a severe snowstorm, then if you want to come see me, I'll put out a tweet. Let's hang at the bar, and that's it. Because that's the thing about PRI, dude, is the after hours is the best time. And one year you'll come next year. I heard you guys teasing the fact you and Elon could do Life's a Drag. We could certainly make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Joe, I got to go. I got to go drive some people around in a car.
Is that what's happening? Let's talk about that. Driving boats that go on land and cars that go in the water.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going good. We have, if anybody's moving down here and wants to be a boat captain or a supervisor, we've got plenty of openings available.
You guys are hiring? You're hiring boat captains?
All day long. They're hiring. So this is a fun job, but it's for people who are retired. And they got to get out of their house. Their wives tell them to get out of the house. So they come. So one guy works only work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the one guy goes, I only work Thursdays. So then you got idiots like me that fill in a couple of us that fill in all the holes. So it's real quick. It's real easy to pick up 40 hours a week out here, which I really don't want to do 40 hours a week. But, someone says I have to, AKA my wife.
Yes. And well, you're getting the huge tips. And for those of you out there in the WFO universe, if you haven't figured this out already, the whole purpose of this show is to, push our wonderful products and our great friends and tell everybody about FTI Performance, booth number 225, all of that stuff. But if you're in Orlando and you're going to go to Disney Springs,
yeah,
that's where Jason is. I recently talked to someone, I think it was at the finals, and they were telling me they were going to Disney Springs and they were going to be there. And I said flat out, you got to go see Jason. You got to go get in the boat. If someone wants you as their captain, can they request that?
They can, but it's more like a first come, first serve. We're like cab drivers. We got ups. All right, so it's when you come around. But if you want me, just come say hi to me, and I'll tell you where I am in the rotation. That's when I'll tell you to go buy your ticket. But
what if I don't want another captain? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want some other dude. I just want you to be my captain, and if not, I'm not going to spend the money to do this amazing experience.
Yeah, they will accommodate. So they'll get us in there.
That's good.
But yeah. And if you catch us on a slow day, I might be able to get you in for free.
But you do accept tips, though, right?
We do accept tips. Yes. Yes. Tips.
Surprising. All right, I'm excited about.
If I get you in for free, you better tip, or for whoever. That's all I'm saying.
Isn't there like a standard formula? Like if your bartender comps you the beverage, the cost of the beverage pretty much goes to the bartender as a tip?
Yeah, of course.
Something like that. I think there's a formula out there in the universe. You get comped to drink and then you don't tip and you leave.
Yeah, that's rude.
All right, Jason, go work.
All right. Hey guys, have fun. Hey, so maybe Life's a Drag might have a post on Friday too. So who knows?
We'll see. We'll see. This is it. This is going to be big. I don't believe we could have built it up much bigger unless we played music. All right.
Is this the greatest announcement in NHRA history?
Until the next one. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like what's rivals this? Nothing.
I know, right?
It's John Force's world champion car. What's bigger than that?
Nothing. You're
Nothing.
Right. Let's go.
Right. Later, buddy.
See you, buddy.
There he goes. Jason Logan with us here on WFO Radio. What do you think? What do you think? We're going to take your comments and your thoughts after a quick break. I do want to mention the folks at PowerTube TV have got their new version of Pinks. It debuts, I believe, tonight on PowerTube TV. Bruno Massel is the host, and they have shot Pinks again, a fresh version. They did it last year. If you loved Pinks, you can watch Pinks on PowerTube TV. I'm going to be swinging by their booth as well. I don't know their booth number, but they were right on the corner across from the media center last year. But the folks at PowerTube TV, Brian and Ray and everybody over there, Bruno Massel is the host. You know Bruno. You love Bruno. Bruno is a 4-time Comp Eliminator world champion, and he is like negotiating, and he's got the arms, like Christensen, like all those stuff. It's Bruno's the new guy for Pinks. So check him out on PowerTube TV. Yes, if you'd like to become a Patreon, you can watch Hear It From Heiner. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. They get bonus content. It's just that simple. We're not going to miss very much if you're not a Patreon. I believe in free for the audience with sponsors. That's been my formula for a long time. But we do have a secret society of Patreons. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. I hear our friends at Right Trailers have got a big announcement or two that will be occurring over the course of the PRI show. And they also have a practice tree race, $100 entry. I thought about going and entering their $100 entry practice tree race. And my first thought was, no, I have a scheduled interview at that time. I'm looking over at my scheduled interviews over here to make sure, like, I got one over there, was number one. And number two was, I will be destroyed. I don't know if I'm into the public humiliation just yet, getting beaten up on the Wright Trailers practice tree race, but that's going to be going on in the stadium at the Wright Trailers deal. That will probably be pretty fun. Get over there and see the fine folks at Wright Trailers. But Total Seal booth 1525, FTI booth 225, Fuel Factory booth 4425, and Foggett booth 2312. We'll be back after this with your comments and thoughts as we close the show.
Foggett is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggett can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggett.
And Foggett is available at summit-racingequipment.com. You jump on there, get yourself a can of Foggett after you race, but it works on countless other things, including firearms. It's great for cleaning your firearm and working on that. Many armorists are on board with Foggett. All right, let's see. Your comments in the comment section, and then we'll wrap up this version of WFO Radio NHRA Nitro. Ignition is in the podcast feed. Yeah, we had a weird issue with our podcast feed last week. SoundCloud.com/WFO Radio. I know I'm hitting you with a lot of links, guys, but it's just the way it is. That's where they host our audio. So it'll always be there. For whatever reason, last week it didn't go out to Apple and to Spotify. I'm currently working on the issue. A lot of A/B testing. Certainly I've got emails in to the places that have factor in on that. But you can find it on SoundCloud regardless, but Ignition is up. I want to see Bob Wilbur as a guest for his new book on WFO. Bob is a great friend. Bob and Elin are great friends. I would love to have Bob on the show. And, you know, in the winter break, we are going to go a little different on our guests. We had Richard Gadsden. We had Dallas Glenn, got a couple of world champions. Next week, I've worked on getting J.R. Gray. I actually wanted J.R. Gray today, because everybody's talking pro mod. And we have to remember that J.R. Gray is the real world's champion. And there's all these great pro mod races, and I'm super excited for the folks at Bradenton Motorsports Park and all our pro mod friends. And they're running the Outlaw Snowbird Nationals, and Jason Harris and Sidney Frigo in the final round. Bo qualified. There's a bunch of great NHRA racers battling it out as well. Courtney is over there. Everyone is over there in Bradenton, and that is great. But J.R. Gray is the world champion. And I don't know that we've spent enough time thinking about his accomplishment. And so I wanted to get J.R. on today, but he is purchasing a race car for his wife, and he's going to pick it up. And I would never get in the way of that. So we got J.R. planned for next week. And maybe it has been recommended to me and offered Jason Harris, who won the event and was the number one qualifier, and has an opportunity at the Triple Up bonus cash, the only one. And we can talk a little bit about it. But I'm just so excited that drag racing has a home in the state of Florida. And I want that track, Bradenton Motorsports Park, to be as strong as possible. And Wes and his team, I didn't spend all weekend watching, but what I did see, they've done a tremendous job. And they've found, I think, the perfect time on the calendar, niche with the racers, and have clearly done a great job. So that's excellent stuff. I would love to do that in the future. Let's see. Your comments in the comment section. Let's see what you guys have to say. Tanner was a good add to Pro Stock. Sucks he left. Let's pick it up there. Yeah, Tanner, who is now running in the Truck Series, and his brother Taylor was a crew member on Steve Torrance's Top Fuel team when they won a couple of world championships. Those boys are doing well for themselves. I hope that someday Tanner comes back. At some point, you know, like, he wanted the seat time. He told me that himself. He wanted the seat time. He also didn't feel like he was portrayed fairly. That was like that. We made too much of the tantrum Tanner and not enough of this guy's a young person developing into an adult, but is super talented Tanner. I'd love to see him come back at some point. You just never know. Keith says, make sure you get NHRA TV for 2026 must-see TV. Yeah. Totes. Why would you not get NHRA TV for 2026? But also you have to watch the Fox show next year, guys. You got to watch every Fox show, DVR it right now. I picked a good year to skip PRI, going to St. Martin instead. C5 Pete, way to go. Going to St. Martin. Okay. I'm going into a blizzard. So there's that. Everything will be fine. Sure it will. I think it'll be. I can deal with cold. It's kind of the character, right? I can't deal with cold, but I can deal with anything. Whatever the situation is, I'll be prepared and I'll be able to handle it. I will visit Jason on land. Forget the water. Monica's not going to the water. You can go just hang out with him over there. I hope to get to PRI one of these years. Well, you got to become a member and then you go. And it is great. It's just that simple. I love it. The reason I love PRI the most is I love checking out the products, and I've got a couple of Project Pontiac things that I'm looking for. Honestly, the weak link of Project Pontiac is now the rear end, and I've got a 12-bolt rear end in there, narrowed rear end, and I'm thinking at some point I need a narrowed 9-inch, and that's a significant thing. So I'm going to be going around to Strange and Mosier, and at least getting information. So there's actually some racing stuff that is going to be going on for me as well. Because what happened to, who was it? The Head Games car ripped some studs off in Dallas, and I can't have that happen to Project Pontiac. So there's some racer stuff that's going to be going on as well. You get to see everybody. And say thank you, move on. I'm sure Reinhardt will be there. It'd be great to see Alan. Daily driver race at Maple Grove this weekend, 30 degrees with a real feel of 23 degrees, says Hexine Flying. I love that. And I got to call a race other than the National at Maple Grove this year. Had a great time with the Koretsky family, Sarah and everybody up there. They did a great job. If you can get in on a daily driver race, you got to do it. So much fun. Just driving a street car. Drag race, bracket racing a street car. Subject to change. Any word from the Bandemiers? How long will Denver be without the new track? Asks Randy. Unknown. I have spoken with Sporty and Larry about this project, and it's a chessboard is what it is. There are a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of interested parties, a lot of what have yous. I know I sound like the dude from Lebowski, but that's what it is. And you buy a piece of land and you want to buy another piece of land, and you're going to unify them and you're going to build something, but you don't want other people to know what you're doing, because then they're like, oh man, my piece of land is the last piece of land that you need to accomplish the goal. Well, it's $1 bazillion. And then you can't get it. And so they've got a plan that they're working. I trust them. I'm going to wait until they say it's on. I hope it happens. But even if it didn't happen, they did their service to drag racing, in my opinion. Fun show today. Safe travels, says Monica. Thank you, Monica. Appreciate you. A lot of interesting things going on out there in the world. Listen to Ignition, guys. Talked a little Formula One. Lando Norris, Formula One world champ. I still think the 8th Mile champions mean more because 8th Mile has more competitive cars. I don't think so. We could have that debate. It's like, you like what you like, and I like what I like. I like to see them run the big end of the racetrack. I like to see 250 miles an hour. I like to see the second half. Guys running their stuff hard. They were definitely running their stuff hard, but that is just a matter of opinion. I appreciate yours. I disagree. The best of the best know that if they want to prove that they're the best of the best, they go to the NHRA and they run the full quarter mile. It's more expensive. It's harder on parts. It takes a bigger budget. Those guys said, I didn't say this, I've never gone 250 miles an hour, that it takes more courage, that it's a harder driving experience. That's what people have said. But in no way am I in any way negative towards 8th Mile Pro Mod racing. I understand more people want to do it. More people want to do it. And that's good. Thanks, Joe and WFO people. I'm sure someone will take that out of context, though, and attack me. That's fine. Great show, Joe. Can't wait till Friday and see how John Force picks. I don't know. I feel like I've done my part in creating doubt and hyping the deal. I really believe it. I believe that we, as a drag racing media community, sometimes fail to understand the opportunity that we have with a moment to create a spectacle. And other sports, think about LeBron and the decision to come to Miami. That might be, jumping the shark slightly of creating a spectacle. But that's a spectacle that the entire planet of Earth stopped to see. And the NBA has benefited ever since that, because maybe some people were annoyed by it or angered by it, but they all paid attention. Too often in the NHRA world, the community, not announcing crew chiefs, No, announce everything. Announce everything. Make a spectacle of everything that you can. Who will the crew chief be? Spectacle. There could have been a fan vote. Which of these 10 drivers would you like to see drive the Cornwell Tools car? We're a little behind on that. We're a little behind because people are very protective of everything. It's a big business, and it's a desperate business. Like, you lose your big sponsor, you might be out of business. Wrestling's never going out of business. The NBA is never going out of business. Roger Penske's never going out of business. And we got to get over that hump where there's enough money where people can have a little fun. And I would love to have seen a list and who the fans picked and just create speculation. Speculation is good. I can afford to speculate. Me, I'm always the guy who's anti-speculation when we're talking about hard facts. We're not talking about hard facts right now. We're talking about a fun thing. Who's it going to be? When is Doug going to be on? Doug Coletta, I'm sure you mean. So I interviewed Doug Coletta and Alan Johnson as part of the ePart Trade Industry Week. That's available on their YouTube channel day one, right after Josh Hart. I'm going to let it breathe a little bit. I just spoke with Doug and Alan and had a great interview. A lot of really great information. A lot of fun. Seeing Alan and Doug as champions, kicking it. Alan Johnson, like his 14th world championship, something like that. We had a blast, and that was part of ePart Trade Industry Week. You can go find that. Is Tanner related to Johnny Gray? Yeah. It's his grandson. Good show, Joe. As always, just had a minor heart surgery, so missing PRI, but we'll have the FX Camaro ready again for Kid Chaos. Thank you, Ken. Health first. Manage your health. No need to be going into a blizzard. We'll be there. Congratulations to Alexis DeJoria to John Force Racing. Super excited. Talked about it last week. Happy for Alexis. We made a big deal about Alexis this year, about her, I'm going to call it a new attitude. And now, could it be that John Force Racing's best days are ahead of it? Because this is the first class of non-family drivers for John Force Racing. How are they going to handle this situation? The first time they zip up that fire suit and they are playing, and I'm sorry, but for the New York Yankees, right? The uniform that extends beyond themselves or their own family, their own finances, their own thing that they did. No, now they represent something bigger than themselves. John Force Racing, the machine, and the sponsors and the people that support that. This might just be exactly what John Force Racing and NHRA needed to accelerate to higher levels. Rick Hendrick was once a race car driver. Richard Childress was once a race car driver. At some point, they realized they liked winning more than they liked driving. And they focused their efforts on building an empire. Roger Penske, on building an empire. And look, they've all built empires in motorsports. Now it's John's turn to do that. John's team's turn to hire the right people, and those people are in place, and Alexis DeJoria can be as big a star on planet Earth as she wants. Go out there and win 4 races, Alexis, and see how the whole thing is different. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. I think Alexis DeJoria can win the championship in 2026. Yeah, she can. Just like that. Last year, she was not winning the championship. This year, she can win the championship. And so can the new person. I'm hoping Barry Switzer after Jimmy Johnson left. There's a lot of that. You know, they got great parts. They got great pieces. Everything is refined. They got a book. I'm hoping one of those companies give you a great deal on a rear end for the Pontiac. Who's better for promoting for their company, says Henry. Oh, thank you very much, Henry. I would like a great deal. A great deal would be great. I'm not asking for anything for free, but I just don't want to rip the rear end out of Project Pontiac in the middle of the 75th season of NHRA, but whatever. I'm not against paying for good stuff either. Hope to see you Thursday. I'll be there, Jeff. And let's see. Do you think you can get Alan Reinhart to go to the Norwalk race next year so he can sign my NHRA sweatshirt? I'll ask him. I talked to Reinhart when I was driving from Pechanga to somewhere, and we talked about Australia, and I invited him on WFO during this winter break to talk about Australia and drag racing and all of that stuff. All right, guys, thank you very much. See you at PRI. Thanks to Elon Werner. Breaking news. Buddy Hull, is that out? Is that in my email box? Yes, it is. Buddy Hull building for the future with announcement of return to team ownership. Buddy Hull today announced on WFO Radio he will be returning to the role of NHRA team owner and driver for 2026 and beyond under the Hull Racing banner. The business owner from Dallas parted ways with Jim Dunn Racing after 2 seasons. So who's going to drive that car? Now all of a sudden another ride is open. Who's going to drive that car? And I also hear that a high-profile tuner may also be available out there. You know, Cruz has got Warrior and Rip on there. Jason Bunker is going somewhere. And I hear that another high-profile tuner might be available. Is Project Pontiac going to enter the Gator Nationals? No. Gator Nationals will not have Super Street. If Project Pontiac is going to run an NHRA national event in 2026, it would have to be the ZMAX 4-wide in April. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. 75th season of NHRA. You know, my number one loyalty is to my employer, people who give me the opportunity to pay for all of my life and, you know, be in the know, NHRA. And as much as I would love to race my car at a 75th anniversary event, and I think it would be a big spectacle and be something cool to talk about, I'd have to be able to do both at a very high level. And that may or may not be possible. So we'll talk about it. All right, guys, appreciate you. Thanks to all the sponsors. Marvin Rodak, guys, 817-924-6821. Rodak's Coffee. Put it on your Christmas list. Marvin Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com. See you at PRI, baby.